Hi friends, I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to part 2 of the monoprinting tutorial series. In part 1, I shared the monoprinting techniques that I use on a regular basis. In this video, I will share monoprinting techniques that I enjoy using, but tend to use less often since some of the supplies for these techniques may not be readily available. I will link part 1 in the description if you're interested in watching that video. The basic supplies will be similar to those in part 1. I'm planning on only using the 8" by 10" gel plate. I have the other sizes nearby in case I decide to use those plates. The paper I'll be using is from a 11" by 14" sketchbook that I never sketched in because it was too cumbersome. I thought it would be better to remove the papers, cut them in half, and use them for other purposes such as monoprinting. A brayer is good to have. And also acrylic paints in light, medium, and dark colors. And finally, paper towels. These are good to have on hand for cleanup. The other supplies will be discussed during that section of the video, so let's get started. To create a textured look on your papers, I like the technique of using bubble wrap and saran wrap on a plate. First, let's talk about bubble wrap. For this demonstration, I'll be using large and small bubble wrap that's been used. I haven't seen a difference between used or new bubble wrap for this technique. So let me get set up and we'll start monoprinting. Press the bubble wrap onto the plate with medium to light pressure, then gently remove it. You can see some nice texture going on here. It's very detailed. We still have paint on here. Let me see if I can get a print. Again, light to medium pressure. This has some nice detail as well. Now we're going to use the large bubble wrap and print a solid painted paper on top of it. Same as with the large bubble wrap. You put it face down and then light to medium pressure. Make sure all the bubbles are touching the plate. And as you can see, this is more delicate looking. Since I didn't clean off the plate when I did the large bubble wrap, you can see some of the green showing through, and I like that. It gives you extra texture and color. It's recommended to use baby wipes for cleaning your jelly plate, but if you don't have any handy, a wet paper towel will work just as fine. This print didn't turn out. It happens sometimes when monoprinting. Fortunately, the bubble wrap still has paint on it, so I can use it to get a print. So what you want to do is take a bunch of your saran wrap, just kind of tear it. You don't have scissors handy. Crumple it up and press it gently on your plate. I like taking small pieces of saran wrap, bunching it up and putting it on the plate because I feel like I have more control than, say, having one large piece of saran wrap because it is sticky. Again, press it into the plate with medium to light pressure. Get another little piece. Hopefully you can see the texture, what's going on in that plate. There's so much going on here with texture. It's beautiful. This will be nice collage paper to use. This next technique, I'll be using butcher's twine, twine from the hardware store, thread, and yarn. Also, I want to mention that I like having solid painted papers to use for this technique, so a color is shown on the paper where the string, twine, or yarn, whatever you're using that was on the plate, shows through. I'll show you more what I mean once we get started. So let me get set up. We'll start monoprinting. Gently lay the butcher's twine in a pattern. As you can see, the paint that was on the paper is showing through instead of white paper. While the twine is still on the plate, I'm taking a scrap of paper to get another print to clean off the paint from the plate. This will help get a clean print after removing the twine from the plate. Make sure the paint is dry on the gel plate before adding the layer of paint on top of it. You'll get a better looking print. This twine is from the hardware store. It's thicker than the butcher's twine, so make sure to have a good amount of pressure on the paper when it's on the gel plate. This time I'm using yarn and thread to make a horizontal pattern. Having two different widths will give the paper a nice design. One more thing, I wanted to show this journal that I made. I used the board from a pad of artist papers for the covers, and I used this string technique right on the board, and it worked great. Let me show you the back. As you can see some texture, but it still looks, I think, really great. I think it's a good technique to use. I thought I would mention it in case you wanted to try it on a heavier substrate. Placing leaves on the gel plate is a fun way to get a realistic element on your papers. I get the best result with leaves that are on the flat side and smaller in shape. Also, I like using this technique in the spring and summer when the leaves are younger and fresh. I'm filming this video in January, so some of the leaves I like using aren't available at this time, such as ginkgo. Let's see how the leaves that I was able to gather will work out for this demonstration. You'll see a few leaves that are considered weeds, but they have nice shapes, so I wanted to give them a try. Also, I didn't get a chance to look up the names of the trees where these leaves came from. I will mention the names of the ones I know, so let's get started. Place the leaves with the top side down on the gel plate. This way you can get some details from the leaves on the gel plate. When you print after the leaves are removed from the gel plate, this detail will transfer to the paper. Make sure to press a bit heavier with the leaves to make sure they are sticking to the gel plate and that you get a good impression on the plate. The rest of this section of the video is music only. Narration will start again in the next section where I talk about using feathers. For some reason, there are tons of crows that hang out in my neighborhood, so I do have a good supply of crow's feathers in my stash. I'll use these feathers to draw directly on the plate like a paintbrush. Crow's feathers are stiff, so they work well as a tool. You can certainly use these feathers to place directly on the plate as well. I'm planning, though, on using these random feathers directly on the plate to get an image on the paper. I like making expressive marks with feathers. Other ideas would be to write words or letters or draw images. Here are all the papers that were monoprinted in this video. I mentioned it in part 1, but it bears repeating. The great thing about monoprinting is that you can make a large number of printed papers in one art session. I hope you found this video informative. Please let me know if you have any questions regarding monoprinting. Thank you for watching. Take care.